What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Merry Christmas to everybody. Not really the results we wanted, though. We'll talk about it. This is not playing. Well, who cares? The intro is not playing for some reason. That is fantastic. Yeah, let's see the play now.
Oh my God!
I'm embarrassed!
He's flying!
Welcome in. It's almost time. Welcome in, everybody. This is the HUD Radio Eagles Cowboys post-game show. We're brought to you by our doc, Make 'em Yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, location in Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Find him on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com, and he's also on all your social media platforms as well, and they accept most major insurances. He's our doc, Make 'em Yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Greg Morakovic, usual A2D, we'll do the Greg giveaway tonight. It is a Jalen Hurts jersey. You know, I'm not in the business of I'm in the business of revealing a lot. It is the gift giving season per se, and I'm not a guy who can wait around. You know what I mean? I already gave Len 2. You know what I mean? I already gave Cass 1. I already gave Len 2. I'm a problem. You know what I mean? I'm a problem. At some point, when Cass is older, there won't be anything under the tree. It'll be handed off the night before. Ryan's in the Christmas spirit. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, we got Chrome, we got him. I mean, it's like a freaking it's like a wardrobe party.
At least mine doesn't have cat fur on it. His had cat fur galore. So
I don't even know what that means, and thank God I don't know what that means. Thank God. But we got Eagles Cowboys to talk about. Like I said, at the end of the show, we'll do our member giveaway, and you can hop on and become an HUD member. It's right in our description over on YouTube. You click on it, $9.99 a month, gets you on the wheel immediately, and get you on the wheel even after Greg's giveaways, because we'll be doing 1 or 2 giveaways as well. So jump in, join it. We'll give her updates on Jalen Hurts tonight. You know, there's some reports out there from Shefty. All right, Shefty, that have a chance he might not play next week. We're just gonna throw that out on a Saturday. It's a Saturday, bro. It's a Saturday. It's a sprained shoulder. Can we shut it down, please? Knock it off. Like if you want to put that out on Thursday because the guy doesn't practice, sure. All right. We'll talk about Hurts. We'll talk about obviously the Eagles and our main topic at hand, Eagles Cowboys post game, ties into our poll question, and we'll give our players of the game, offense and defense, because even with a loss, right, there was some wins today. There were some wins, and we're going to talk about those wins. Right? I always want to beat the Cowboys. I know we all do. All right? I don't feel as good as I did, 2 hours ago when I thought this game was in hand. I thought we were controlling this football game. We made it through their wave, right? But we're here. We lost 40-34. Yep, and it still feels like a semi win, and we'll get into all that. Our poll question brought to you by FanUp. FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NFL and NBA contests as well. Sign up today. Use our promo code A2D. You get $50 right at sign up, and you can download FanUp right on the Apple Store. So interactive. I think you'll really enjoy it if you get your friends on there too. You can challenge everybody. It's really cool. It's different, and there's no salary caps either, which is really what the daily fantasy things really hem you up with. Really hem you up when there's a cap. Our poll question for tonight is probably the biggest play of the game, and we're going to talk about it and find out what everybody's opinion is. And it is the 3rd and 30 was the main reason the Eagles lost tonight's game. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, that's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, follow, join the conversation, download. You know the deal. You know the drill. Let us hear from you. Merry Christmas. We're not there yet, but we're close enough to it. I absolutely agree. I mean, I couldn't agree more to something. And I know the common theme is going to be turnovers, and I get that. But with all the turnovers, this game was essentially over if you get off the field right there. You get off the field and go on any type of drive, even for a field goal, this game's over. It's over. I don't have the crystal ball. I can't tell you that we don't go 3 and out and Dallas doesn't get the ball right back and go score a touchdown. Nobody has that crystal ball. But what crystal ball I do have is, forget the turn for a second. You give up 3rd and 30s, you're supposed to lose a football game. Turnovers happen. Turnovers are part of sports. 3rd and 30s are inexcusable. All right, if a guy like the Donovan play years ago in Dallas to Freddie Mitchell, if a guy makes a million guys miss in the pocket and extends something for 20 minutes, sure. That's when those big explosive plays happen. But absolutely not when that's look one way and go deep to T.Y. Hilton off the streets, and that guy catches the ball for 40-plus yards, and that changed the momentum of this football game. Because 3rd and 30s are backbreakers, right? We talk about a quarterback running on like a third and 12, right? And everything's covered up, and a quarterback runs for 14. And you're like, oh my God, I feel like you just broke my back with that run, right? That's what a 3rd and 30 does. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I mean, this is a guy who prides himself. And I get 13-2 football team. I'm mad they lost, even though people can tell me the game doesn't matter. But what you just did was you just gave the Cowboys the 5th spot guaranteed. Guaranteed. They can't go any lower than 5 now. So for everybody out there that was so worried about seeing Dallas 3 times, you still controlled that destiny. You still controlled the ability, not saying they wouldn't get 5, but you still controlled the ability to say, not today. Not today. And for yourselves, you had a chance to say, done, check, over, we get home field throughout. You had 2 big check marks today to check off, and we didn't get it done. And the main part is my top 5 defense needs to get off the field, period. But you better get off the field on 3rd and 30s. And I don't want to hear of, where a different guy was in. We played with Josiah Scott for freaking a month and a half, okay? I don't want to act like it's some guy that just stepped in. I'm not telling you it's good or bad. Ain't many guys covering CD in the slot, period, in this league. All right, so you lose Avante, huge loss. But I don't want to hear that this guy it's the guy, he doesn't play a lot. He just played a lot. All right, he just played a lot. So, he should know his positioning. He should know his coverages, right? It's inexcusable. So I don't hear Darius talking about, Darius wasn't, deflecting blame, but he was saying, the coverage they're in, and we just weren't in the right spot. But at the end of the day, that guy's played enough now to know what spot he's supposed to be in, and you pride yourself in a defense that's bend but don't break, and you just got bent and broke, okay? Bent and broke, okay? So I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed because you had a chance to wrap it up, all right? And now everybody that was talking about guys who shouldn't have played today, I understand there's a lot of guys who got banged up today too, right? To tie in and everything, I understand that, all right? But now you're forcing guys that got to play another week. Mm-hmm. So now you don't even give yourself the option or the chance to do it. Hey, we want to do this way or that way. You still got to lock up number 1 seed. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. So I think the main reason we lost, easily, obviously the turnovers. But I'm going to stand true to this. I mean, when that play happened, I said game. I said game. And sometimes I'll say it just for fun, and because I know it's like a jinx, right? But when I said it this time, I felt it. That's just all the momentum's ripped from us. Because now you're getting the ball back with a chance with 6 minutes left to go impose your will with a run game and maybe go on a 5-minute drive, right, boys? For a field goal, game over. So none of the interceptions, both weren't on Gardner's fault, in my opinion. Quez runs the worst routes in the history of sports. I would have cut him. He wouldn't even be allowed in the locker room because I got no time for lazy routes, right? The fumble, listen, Miles has been great all year. He coughed one up. You better not fumble in the playoffs, all right? I'm good with today's fumble. I can live with it. You better not fumble in the playoffs. There's my rants on everything out there. And people out there, stop acting like these guys are coming over for Christmas dinner. All right? So if somebody wants to be critical of somebody, let them be critical. Who cares? You don't got to go around defending the world like it's your boy and he's coming over with gifts for your kid. Ain't nobody coming over our houses. All right? So if we're mad, it's Cowboys. I feel like some people need to check their beanbags. Somebody need to drop your drawers on Christmas Eve and make sure you got some peanuts down there. All right? Make sure you got something down there. Because if you're not fired up after losing to Dallas, really, what are we in this for? I know we're 13-1 going into it, right, boys? But we're still annoyed, right? We still don't like to lose to them. Screw them, and they're running around like they won the whole thing. You barely beat us with our backup. We bent you over with yours. Okay, let's be real on what that game was. Even though it got close for a minute, that game was never close, right? So that's my whole rant. But I agree, that's the backbreaker. That's the difference maker. Who knows if you get the ball back? And throughout all this craziness, we still had a chance to win the game, right, guys? Even had the ball last, opportunity to win it. I don't agree with the spike on 1st and 10 there. I call my timeout there.
Especially knowing you need a touchdown, right? If you need a field goal, I get the spike. Because then you need.
What are you doing?
You need a TD. You needed that down. You needed it down.
So yeah, and listen, I'm happy he's a pig and shit because we still control our own destiny.
Yep.
But now we got to wait till tomorrow or the next day, not even tomorrow, and find out some injury news on Lane. I don't know if anybody has that or Avante. I don't know what's up with those two. Lane's more important than Avante to me. So.
Yeah, I mean, the only update on Lane so far is that he walked out of the locker room under his own power, and he was wearing wrap around his waist and groin area.
Okay, so my opinion, what it looked like, right, is it looked like he got hit somewhere there.
Got a nut shot.
Like maybe not a nut shot, but around that area where it's just
I'm not saying that was intentional. Just like you get a nut shot, you're gonna be down a little
bit. Maybe. If it was, congrats on your success because it worked.
Yeah.
Just so we don't have 3 agrees, because I mean, if we're talking about one play with the decision of the game, I think every household in Philadelphia or of any Eagles fan, I know I did. I said if we somehow screw up 3rd and 30. I think I said I'll turn off the game. I didn't turn off the game. That was a lie. But that was really, really bad. Just to switch it up so we don't have 3 agrees, I'll go disagree and I'll say, more broader of a statement. I'll say the self-inflicted mistakes, because there were times before that even happened where you can have a 14-point lead. Where, you look in the first half, I believe it was, in the middle of the second quarter, midfield, 4th and 8, and Prescott throws a horrible ball to the sidelines, and there you go with Darius Slay penalty. Free gift. You have obviously 4 turnovers, so their one was in the first drive of the game. That's 4 gifts right there. I'm not saying this because it's anti-Cowboys, because I think we as a station, I think us, 3 mainly keep it real with the Cowboys. Do we hate them? Yeah, but we're not going to be somebody that's oh, the Cowboys always stink even though they have an undefeated record. We don't hide from saying if the Cowboys are really good, they're really good. And they are really good. They're still one of the top, 2 or 3 teams in the NFC. No questions asked before this game, after this game. But the annoyance is, forget about how I think we all believe at the end of the day, if Jalen Hurts plays today, we win the game. And that's not a shot at Dallas. That's just because, hey, you don't turn the football over 4 times. You don't throw 2 interceptions, even though they were completely lazy routes by the wide receivers. It's a completely different outlook. You saw there were bits and pieces.
Real quick, you would assume that.
Yeah.
He didn't play today. We're up 7. We're with a top 5 defense with our backup in. You got to then really make that play. It's different when you're starting quarterback and arguably a top 3 MVP vote getter playing. But when your back's behind the wall and you got to rally behind the backup goalie, per se, that's when a top 5 defense, a guy like Slay, whoever, you need to make these plays. Yeah. So that's all. You know what? 3rd and 30 goes right into your conversation. It's self-inflicted, because there's many self-inflicted. Forget it. Not even talking about the turnovers, to your point. No. And that's the crazy thing. And through all that, you still got the ball with a chance to win the game. Think about it. That's insane, guys. It's insane. How good we really are.
Yeah, it was eerily similar to the other time we lost, and that was against the Commanders, to where you're still in that game. It feels like you should be down 20 for numerous different reasons, offense and defense, and you still have a fighting chance at the end of the game. And once again, you just can't get out of your own way. I think the secondary, with or without, I mean, obviously Maddox going out is big. Nobody's questioning that.
Nah.
But Darius Slay was terrible today. He just was.
Yeah,
he was just terrible.
Yeah, he had a bad game.
My dad made a good point. My dad did make a good point. He doesn't make many, right? But I do want to give him love when he does. He said, dude, this is 3 straight games on the road. He said 3 straight games on the road and a short week too. On the road again. He's like, dude, that's a lot. You could tell they were tired. And I said, You think so, really? And he goes, Tom, I'm telling you.
At times, you're right.
He's like, that looked like a team that just was out of gas at one point.
You even think about the pick 6. As great as that was, the defense didn't get a blow. And how easy was that drive for Dallas right after that? Right? They just were like, okay.
I'll give you one, you give me one. It was a season of giving. We'll give you one, we'll give you back. But the right point.
And I think that's a lot of it, though, too.
Their defense is
point. Their defense is too. Like, when you get a pick 6 like that, you don't get a rest. You're right back up. And when you start losing guys like a Maddox again and thinking you have that depth back, then, it did look like that at times.
The last thing I'll say real quick, and this is to the Dallas fans, listen, if we beat them by 1 point, we would be coming on fired up. So I don't have an issue. And I completely understand people coming on our chats being like, oh, Dak owns you. Oh, you guys are losers. We beat you. Yeah, fine. Enjoy Christmas Eve and Christmas with a win over one of the best teams, if not the best team in football. Awesome. But I'll just tell you shouldn't feel great about giving up 34 points to a backup quarterback. You just should at home
or even take off the 34, 28. You give 28. You give 28 points to a backup quarterback. So that's still a lot, right? To your point, like because Cowboy fans are automatically say, "Well, why was it touching by your defense?" Cool, we'll give you that. We still scored 28, and 28 leads the National Football League in points. So your defense is suspect, which we thought, okay, and your offense, to me, is hit or miss. And we had plays, we had meat on the bone. I mean, to me, the play where Avonte Maddox wraps him, that's considered wrapped in the pocket and down immediately around the National Football League. So they let that play go on when in reality, I've seen that play called dead.
That's been blown dead before, yeah.
You know, he's wrapped him up. He's
especially for a quarterback.
Yeah, and it's not.
That's what happens. Someone else comes in and hits him. Now we get a penalty flag for, unnecessary roughness.
Yeah, so you can't have it both ways, but I'll never blame refs because that's not the reason we lost today, right? I mean, the reason we lost is we like I said, we give up a 3rd and 30 and we turn the football over way too many times. I mean, so listen, we can get better. DJ's World, then go like Greg. I just want to read a super chat before we miss it. He says, no shade, but the offense looked a lot like it did with Hurts. Mine was a couple error throws and a couple scramble opportunities. Yeah, to a point. I agree with you. I think, and you got to give the guy a little bit of credit here. How many reps do you get with the number one guys? He probably gets more reps with Quez than he does with AJ or Devontae at this point. And, I thought he fed those two. I mean, Devontae had a great game, and AJ had a great game.
Both were over a hundo.
Yeah, I mean, Devontae had 2 touchdowns. He went and stole the Salvation Army coins, which was hysterical. And he went over 1,000 yards on the season. But I thought he did a great job. And again, when you don't start for a whole season,
and
right?
You missed a day of practice.
Like
I understand it was just a walkthrough, but he missed Tuesday being out there for Mike Leach, which is,
a big day.
Which is a big day.
I thought he played great. I don't really. The two picks are like,
the one was his fault.
Yeah, you got to make plays. Even the other one, I got to go back and look at it, but I feel like it was very similar. Well, no, the other one when he went over his back.
He went over his back and got it.
Yeah. And first off, that's again. I don't care. That's PI though, because that contact's early and you made a guy go down. But you, as a receiver, you got to fight through that. Mm-hmm. That's another soft, lazy route. Where if that's thrown to AJ or a guy like Devontae, who's the smallest guy on the field, Devontae's going physical with that route. Mm-hmm. That's the difference. Where it ain't the size of the dog and the dog. It's this, whatever. The whole phrase.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I thought that I don't think either two were really on him. I mean, they're balls in traffic. You got to be able to make throws in traffic in this league. In reality, guy threw for 350 plus, right, boys? Right, 350 plus, 2 TDs, 2 picks. I mean, what else? You got a guy like Zach Wilson can't play in New York. You know what I mean? So I mean, you got places where guys can't play. This guy's a great backup to have, and gave you a chance to win a football game. Mm-hmm. And everything Ryan mentioned when he went, and the 3rd and 30 are the reasons why. Guess what? You're leaving here 40-34, and I believe the 3 straight weeks on the road ties into this. And go, Greg. Dallas, all said and done, if they got to come to Philly at some point, that's 3 straight weeks on the road for everybody listening at home.
Yes, it would be.
True.
Yeah. No, and I thank you, DJ's World, again. Appreciate that, brother. I absolutely agree to the poll. I mean, Tommy, you said it in our group chat. And Marquise, real quick, I just comment on that. But Goddard disappeared in the second half. I don't know if that was schemed by the Cowboys or if we just went away from him. But he kind of disappeared. I agree. Early on, he was there, but he definitely disappeared. But no, that's the biggest play of the game, especially when you factor in that we didn't get the fumble 2 plays before that. Right? You know what I mean? Like you had the fumble. Linval had that ball ripped away from him.
Yeah.
And then you still are fine. Like that happens. You battle to force yourself into a 3rd and 30, and that was with 8 minutes left, right? 8 minutes left. Even if you do nothing but go 3 and out, you're running at least 2 minutes, 3 minutes off the clock, right? You know what I mean? Like you're running time off the clock, and then like you said, Tommy, earlier, like we're for our best case scenario, you go down and get a field goal, you go up 10.
Yeah.
Right now you go up 20. You would have gone up
10.
It was 10.
10.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It would have been 37-27.
That's a wrap.
Point.
That's a wrap.
Game over. Because if you're going to a field goal, you're taking more than 3 minutes down, right? Now you're taking 4, maybe 5 minutes, which means they're going to score twice in 3 minutes. Now, I'm not saying they can't, but you put your defense in a really good spot, especially because I thought, too, like to your point, and to what both of you guys said, it felt like at that point of the game, our defense and our pass rush was really starting to get home because we were starting to take control of the game. And then you let them back in it with that play, and it was just over. That's a back-breaking play. That is an absolute back-breaking play, and it can't happen. And it was just like, once it's done, you're just like, did that just happen? Like, is this real life? That really just happened?
It made you feel like old Eagles, right?
Yeah.
It made you feel like
that wasn't this team. And tiredness aside and scheme aside, we're critical at times, but this defense, especially in the second half, throughout the last 6-8 weeks, has really stepped up and made the plays when they've had to in the second half.
That's not even making a play either.
No,
that's backyard football. That's backyard football. Oh, 4th and goal, right? Whoever we're playing against, our other buddies, our other 5 guys, they're at midfield. I mean, everybody back up a little bit. Like, I don't need a coach to put me in a scheme there. I just can't let anybody by me.
Yeah.
Right? Like, everything's in front of me on those. You didn't even give your front an opportunity on that down to get home. That's how bad and egregious that was. Like, it was just straight.
Yeah, he was almost open from jump.
Dude, he didn't even. It wasn't like a stop and go. It was strictly a fly route.
It was strictly a go.
And like it's bad. But guess what? I mean, again, it's not the end of the world. Now we're in the mode of like, okay, we got to finish the job, right? At some point in the next 2 weeks here, and we got to get guys right. Like, if it's true about Vontae Maddox's broken toe, how long's that sideline for? Right? Is that 2 weeks? Is that 3 weeks? Do I get him back week 1? Of my playoffs, when do I get a guy like that back? Like that's a concern now. And you saw AJ with an ankle early on in the game, and you hold your breath. Milton Williams. I mean, it's all part of football.
You took that hit again late too, like with the knee. Now, again, it came back in, but
you got to play next week,
Greg. Add up. They have to absolutely play next week. Because
the problem is this is why Ryan knows from when. Well, Greg, you know from Wednesday too. I press the importance of winning this football game. On what flexibility it allowed for you. Oh, Merry Christmas, DJ. Look at you. Oh,
thank you, DJ.
Oh, my God, DJ.
Thank you.
Oh, my God. Really, we really appreciate
it.
You, from a Dallas point of view, the system is fantastic, and it's going to score points. I still feel good because the biggest question was if Dallas looked the same against y'all's day. They scored 40, so I feel more than okay. I would, too.
Yeah, offense is not an issue.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, maybe outside in the cold, right, that is slowed down, but everybody's slowed down in the cold, right? That you can maybe slow it down a little bit, but they're explosive. They have playmakers. I mean, that's a good quarterback. I've always said he's good. He's not special. He's not great. He's good. He's got to do work to become the elites, right, of the quarterback. CD I've always liked. I mean, CD's a legit number 1, and there ain't many. And once they decide to slot him more and play him on the outside.
That was the biggest factor in the first half is when they slotted him.
Yeah.
Once Avonte went out.
My biggest concerns, I would say the 3 biggest concerns, for me, I don't know if we're all Eagles fans coming out of this game. It's 1, Lane Johnson, 2, Avonte Maddox, 3, what the hell is going on with Darius Slay? That's I don't think even if we lost, I understand, the defense didn't look great as a whole, but I don't question, are we not going to win a playoff game now? Are we a fraud 1 seed? Are we not going to even get the 1 seed? That's not in my mind right now. There's a lot of things I didn't like, clearly, which we talked about, but there's some things I did like, even in the situation where we have a loss. It's just, are there going to be injuries, mainly Lane Johnson? Because Lane Johnson is as much, again, he's not the quarterback, but he's arguably the most important player on the team. Because we've seen it for years.
I'll go on that limb. He's more important than Jalen Hurts to this football team.
Yes.
Yeah, and we've seen
because of his backup compared to Jalen's backup, right? Like, Jalen's got a legitimate starter to most teams in the NFL where, if it's Salmalo, if it's Driscoll, whoever you're throwing out there, I don't know how many teams are starting for unless somebody goes down, right? And that's the difference. So he's the most important. Right, I wouldn't even put Slay on your list as concerns because we know he can play at a high level. Corners have bad games in this league, right? It's just a way of it's the life of the corner. It's the hardest position, in my opinion, all sports. Because that guy who's running a 4-2 flat, he knows where he wants to go.
Yeah.
Do you? Do you know where he wants to go? So I'll give him a benefit. He hasn't been good over the last few weeks. Not like his typical self, but These guys usually play in waves. So I'm not worried about him. But the other two, I'm extremely concerned about, for sure.
Andrew said, Slay is ranked 92 out of 93 cornerbacks since week 9. Not great.
Well,
yeah, but other than this week, we've come out with wins, so it doesn't matter.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, no,
I'm just worried about trends. That's all. I'm just worried about.
I hear you.
Is he playing hurt? Like, what the hell's going on?
Well, this is what happens too. There's a little bit. I remember something. I don't know how you rank guy 92nd out of 93 when our entire line is like double-digit sacks. So I mean, they must be covering
for something.
Yeah, they must be covering pretty good. We lead the National Football League in sacks. Like, so that's a tango thing. That takes 2 to tango. So I don't know how much I agree with this ranking. Has he been the Darius Slay that we're paying number 1 corner money to? I'm not going to say that, but he's right in the middle. I mean, I think whoever ranked 92 out of 93 needs to buy a fucking clue. Because I watch a lot of football. I just watched another guy get beat.
There's bad quarters out there.
Yeah, Pickens is stiff-armed like a whole family on the sidelines. So, I mean, I you know what I mean? Like you guys know me. I'm fair. I got no problem ripping the whole country. Yeah. But I'm not going to go on a rip Darius fest.
Nobody should.
Like, we'll talk in playoffs, dude. Like, in playoffs, if a guy's getting – like, that's it. That's the whole thing. This all leads you up to 1 point. That point now becomes playoff football. So now everything's under a microscope when that game happens, right? And everything from that game feels like it's an entire season, right, guys? So when you put the microscope to the playoffs is where we can really gauge more. So if Darius Slay gets beat for 120 in the playoffs, Houston, we got a problem, okay? You're right? If Jalen Hurts throws 2 picks in the playoffs and we lose – we got a problem, right, guys? Mm-hmm. Right there. There's when we create problems like that will carry us into an off season, okay? But game 14 or 15, game 15 of the season does not dictate who I am. Right. It just doesn't. I wanted this game more than anybody probably. Like, this is probably the first Sunday I woke up like really jazzed because there was a lot on the line, and I would have been.
I told Ralphie last night, I said, dude, I don't know how we lose. that's how good I felt about it.
Brian, so I understand Dallas fans are going to talk and they're going to say things. Bri, you barely beat Houston, but like you actually like were worried. Like you guys were worried about that. And also, you lost to Jacksonville. I know Jacksonville's like first place team now, but like what?
Why are we doing this? Like, why do we have to talk about – this is what I want to talk about. You are what your record is, right? Like, people try to throw shade at Minnesota all the time. And I'm not missing Minnesota, but I've sat here and told everybody they're good, though, because they are winning 1-possession games. Like, that's what this league's about. It's about winning close games. It's about coming out with a win. It's about doing exactly what Dallas did today. It's finding a way to win a football game because they're a good team. That's what good teams do. If you're a shit can and you stink, you lose a lot of single-digit games. How many teams around the National Football League that don't have a good record or have lost 5 or 6 single-digit games? Or right? I'm telling you, the list is so high, you'd be like, whoa, that team's that close to being good. That's why the turnaround in this league is crazy. What's the difference from Jacksonville early on in the year and Jacksonville now? They're winning those 1-possession games. Yep. Fucking people miss me with who plays who. This isn't college. This ain't a strength of schedule bullshit. This is National Football League. Every week's a dogfight. Every week. All right. Buffalo goes into Chicago today. Terrible conditions, right? Dogfight for most of the game, right? This is what the league is. Teams stink, etc. You're always going to probably – how many blowouts happen? No. How many, guys? We watch enough football. Not saying they never happen, but how many true blowouts are you like, yeah, we thought we had one. You can say, oh, Tom, the Colts. Not quite there, right? So like, nobody does it. So we talk about it every week on A2D, all the hosts, right? And you win, it's big, man. You win, it's big. Like, we'll figure out some of the things you need to fix. Now, look at the things that went wrong today. If we win today, we're not talking about those things like we are now.
Yeah.
We're not talking about trends. We're not talking about some problems here and there. We're having a different conversation. So at the end of the day, it's about wins. The Eagles, guess what the Eagles are? They're 13-2, which is the best record in the National Football League. Right? So they are what their record says. You know what Dallas is? 11-4. So they are what their record says they are. I'll circle the leg if you'd like me to. I don't feel like it.
If you needed any other indication of how good the Eagles have been all year or how great they've been, you can afford, even though we're disappointed and annoyed and all those things, we're upset because it's Dallas and you never want to lose a football game to anybody, whether it's Chicago, Dallas, Jacksonville, whatever. You were so good for a majority of the season. You can lose a divisional game in week 16 and be like, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's how good we've been.
Yeah.
So, like, I again, like, people saying, oh, this is, even like the people saying like Jonathan Gannon should be fired after this game. Like, I'm not a Gannon guy, never will be. I'll be very happy when he gets hired by another team, so he's somebody else's problem. But like, miss me on the like, oh, we should panic right now. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm upset. Yeah. I'm annoyed. We could have easily won this game if we didn't get it in our own way 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. But I'm fine. The only thing that could have made me like panic a little bit is if we would have scored like 6 points and they scored like 50.
Yeah, if we were never in the game, which we weren't. We were in the game, if not controlling it, really. You know what I mean? Like, when we think about it, we jumped out to 2 10-point leads, and we just let them come back in both of them. Really
it's a defensive loss. It's a defensive loss.
It's a defensive loss, absolutely.
I know people want to put on the offense, but the difference from elite and good on the defensive side is red zone. Right? Mm-hmm. So, like, you can give up big plays, and you can have what happened to you on 3rd and 30, but then you got to hold somebody to 3. And what happened with this defense today, they didn't help their offense out when needed, right? They didn't come up with that big stop, or, okay, now we got to come out with a field goal unit. There wasn't enough of that. There was too many touchdowns, too many what I felt like easy touchdowns, and I think that's the difference in the football game, where we did score in the red zone as an offense. Like, we did a pretty good job. Yeah. Like, if you would have told me we scored 34 points today, I tell you we win.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. If you tell me we scored 28, I tell you we win, because I had 28-24. I expected Dallas to score. I didn't expect them to put up 40. I mean, that's egregious. So you're not a top 5, because what we thought, top 5 defense just travel. Well, you didn't travel today. Not to the level you're used to.
Chris, he's not on the hot seat. You're 13-2. He's not on
the hot seat. 3 games left in the 2 games left in the regular season.
Yeah, four games guaranteed total. He's not on the hot seat.
Well, when the seat gets hot, Chris, okay, you come in up, put up this kind of performance in the playoffs, and you get bounced. Okay.
Oh, no question.
So I mean, if 40 gets put up on you in your first round of the playoffs, right, and if 3rd and 30 happens, that seat just got real hot. 13-2. I mean, the seat might be warm because it's inside the building, but it's not warm like that.
Yeah.
This is via Brandon Lee Gouton on Twitter, and I completely agree with it. He said if you're an Eagles fan, there should be another takeaway. He said playing with a backup quarterback in the 3rd straight road game historically is very hard to win. The Eagles still outgained the Cowboys, were more efficient on 3rd down, and had fewer penalties, and yet they still lost. But again, you have those 3 categories where it's like, hey, if you would have just gotten out of your own damn way, again, this isn't like brownie points. Like, we don't win anything and being like, oh, you didn't beat us, we beat ourselves. Like, no, we lost the football game. It doesn't matter. But with a backup quarterback, once again, on the 3rd straight, road game, you outgained them on their own field. After the first half, which I don't think we stopped them on 3rd down until at the very end when we forced them to kick a field goal with like a minute and 15 left, you still leave the game more efficient on 3rd down, which means you had a great second half on 3rd down conversions or getting off the field, and had fewer penalties. So, like, again, like, I'm pissed, but it could have gotten way worse. Way worse.
Yeah. We did. I mean, in reality, we did shoot ourselves in the foot, right? Like, we didn't make those plays defensively that we're used to making, and we lost a football game. There ain't no excuses. That's just what we like. People understand. You come tune into a show about a game that just happened. There's going to be takeaways, right? People can call them excuses. That's not an excuse. That's a takeaway. What went wrong? That's a takeaway. It ain't an excuse. Excuses are, well, no. I'll tell you. I said it early on. I don't have a crystal ball, but you get off the field on 3rd and 30. You got a better chance of winning a football game. Mm-hmm. That's all. A little bit better of a chance with 6 minutes to go, and you have the football. So anybody says you don't have a better chance, then you're an idiot. But guess what? They still got to score after the 3rd and 30. You still got to get stopped after it, and you didn't. And they took advantage of it.
Yep. You still could have held to a field goal or even, whatever. Right? They go for it on 4th down, and you whatever. Right? You still could have held them, and you're right. They didn't.
We lost the football game with our backup quarterback, by 6 points to the great Dallas Cowboys, who had a million excuses after they crowned Cooper Rush and they came in here and got their butts kicked. So, I'm really sick and tired of it. Like, you guys are the worst fans in the history of sports. You're not America's team. You're America's frauds. You've been frauds for 2 decades now, right? I'll give you credit when it's due, and I got no problem doing it, but you're also a little overrated, too. Because where's that guy? I didn't even hear his name today. Did Micah play today? And I'm a big Mike guy. Did he play? Did DeMarcus Lawrence play today?
I know he played today because he did the bring it on symbol, and then we just ran it down their throats into the end zone.
That's a Fowler I knew played more than DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons.
Yeah, and the guy, what was it, Jaron Curse, the one who intercepted it twice? Like, he had more of an impact.
Yeah, Mr. PI. Well, Quez is, listen, my son's going to run a more aggressive route than Quez, and that's a problem.
That's the other thing that annoyed me. I don't understand the obsession today with Quez Watkins and Kenny Gainwell. And
I don't think it's an obsession. I think it's what we talked about. Like, Quez has to play, right? Because he's your third receiver.
Absolutely.
So I'm not worried about like Quez getting targets. As more as Kenny's going to get reps for a couple of reasons. One, we talk about the game's really meaningless essentially, and they're not going to wear that dude out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're like Kenny scores if he just hits the hole on that one play. Like, just hit the hole, you jump for no reason, right? Yeah. But like, I think they're like, one, they're trying to find out what they have. I'm sure, right? Mm-hmm. And two, you need more than one back in this league. So I've never looked at that a lot, and especially at this point when you're 12-2, or when you're 13-1 in this football game. We talk about on Wednesday, like, hey, a guy like Miles, give him a couple less touches. It's okay, like, because I need the healthiest, freshest Miles Sanders I can get when that playoff game hits up, because running backs really don't get rust, right? They get fresh. Yeah. That's the difference from like resting a running back and resting the rest of the team. They get legs again.
The Gainwell thing bothered me a bit just because I thought early on Miles was running well early on,
and then they take him out for like 3 series.
Yeah, then he didn't say. But the Quez thing I get more because Gardner probably has the most familiarity with Quez just because of working with the twos. You know what I mean? And he mentioned that, in midweek about Goddard too, how like with Goddard being injured, he'd been working with Goddard more and more and more. Yeah. It was strange to see them forcing the ball to Quez though, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like Quez is going to be a part of this offense, and he just had a bad game, right? You just got to be stronger at the attack of the football, and this and that. But I guess the more concerning thing for me on offense is, like I brought up earlier, was the disappearance of Dallas in the second half. Now, that might have been Dallas overloading on him, the Cowboys in defensive scheme to him, which left then AJ and Devontae more open to do what they did in the second half. But, I mean, Dallas only had 3 targets. Now, granted, he caught all 3 of them, but he had 3 targets for 67 yards. They were all in the first half.
Yeah, but I think some of it might be like, how many snaps did he take in the second half? I don't have that snap count from him.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Was he on a little bit of a pitch count himself as a player? I don't know. I would have to go back and look and see if he was on the field, every play in the second half too. But I mean, they were getting whatever they're minuscule complaints because they were getting whatever they wanted on the outside. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't even get mad and be like, why'd you target Quez? Like, dude, that's a crossing route that I need you just to catch a ball. Yeah. Like, that's a sit down route, which is an easy pitch and catch. Like, that's what that route is. And I don't have a quarterback that's going to run around and make people miss to extend plays. So I have to get the ball out of my hands, which I think Gardner did a really good job with. Like, I think Gardner did a really good job of, like, throwing balls away. We didn't have anything, right, guys? Like, taking what the defense gave him. That didn't take
sacked at all. Wasn't sacked at all.
No, those 2 plays this is what defense give me. It's 1-on-1. My guy's in front of that player. Catch the football. Mm-hmm. And the second one's egregious, even worse. The second one is the biggest puss. Like, fight for the freaking football, bro. Because if both of you come down with it and you hold on to that with him, it's your possession. If he never takes it from you and you guys are rolling like a fucking spinning like a hamster wheel all the way down the field, it's still your possession.
And he did this last week. He did this on the second interception by Jalen. It's why are we turning into Jalen Reagor? I thought we traded him to Minnesota.
Well, guess what? Remember when people said Quez is probably better fit than Odell. You remember that? Like, probably not.
That was an eye roll before he started not running routes anymore. That was an eye roll.
After what I've seen over the last few weeks, right, Greg? I mean, I would have no problem trying to get Zach into that role a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, just because he's more of a veteran, he's more physical. I'm not telling you he's good, but he can stretch it too. So it's not like a guy who can't hit you over the top. And with those two show ponies on the outside, man, you could put anybody in the middle there. Whoever's in that middle in that slot or wherever they line up that play should be having a field day, boys. Like, should be having a field day. The fact that Quez Watkins hasn't had a field day type year is actually a joke. Like, you're actually not any good then. Because if I'm playing with Devontae and AJ, like, I should probably have big time production. Like, what's Quez's yards per catch at? Like at minimum, if I'm playing with those two, it should be 15 plus. And it probably isn't. It probably isn't. DJ's World, another super chat. Look at you, brother. You're the best.
10.7.
Whoa. 10.7. Not good enough when you're playing with those guys. He said the media crown Rush. Any real Dallas fans knew Rush is what Shady calls Dak. Yeah, he's just a guy, right? I mean, we all knew it. And Dak's more than a guy.
Dak's a top 10 quarterback, 100%.
But I don't know. I think, no, Ricky, I don't think they're going to call it though. I think they'll go, maybe they'll go use Pascal more. And maybe as Dallas gets his feet back under him a little bit more too, that we sort of go some games where we don't even see Quez, right? In reality. So I mean, he's a deep ball guy. If he's not doing that at a high level, then what's he doing? I don't think Josiah stinks. I think he's a second nickel. I think it's the hardest position in all sports is the nickel corner. Because what you can work out of from the slot is way more space, if that makes sense, right? You have way more space to operate when you line up as a slot receiver than you do on the outside. You guys know what I mean by that? Yep. So like, I think it's a hard position. I thought after the first week of him filling in for Avante, I thought he played well enough to the point where I didn't put a target on his back or a bullseye. Well,
yeah,
right? Like I thought he played solid.
Yeah,
solid. Like, come on, we can't crush a guy in reality. Let's be fair. Like, we can't crush our second nickel corner because he gets thrown into the fire against CeeDee Lamb, who's a top 10 wide receiver in football. However anybody would say, he's a top 10 wide receiver in football. His numbers speak to it, his touchdowns, right? So we can't be like, oh my God, like, what are we gonna do? No, we know that if we face Dallas, we gotta bracket more. We gotta do things.
We gotta figure something out. Yeah.
Like, yeah, nobody else is gonna beat me. Like no disrespect, Michael Gallup and freaking T.Y. Hilton should never beat me, and they both did today. Okay, and they both had big catches. So they can't beat Bradbury and Slay. You can't have it both ways. CD can eat a little bit. Those two guys can't even get a lick. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Josiah Scott, as you mentioned earlier, played for the last month and a half, and we barely heard from him. And our defense was fine. Our defense got off the field on third downs, right? Our defense gave up very little touchdowns in the second halves of games and came out with win after win after win after win. Is he great? No, but does he fill a role when he's needed to be there? Sure.
Why do you think they signed Avonte Maddox to the deal they signed him to? Because he's one of the better slot corners in football. Well, like, remember the argument early on? Oh, he's an outside guy, Tom. No, he's not. He's a slot guy. Put him in the slot. He'll get burned on the outside. Put him in the slot. He's had a really good career now. Besides, again, his biggest problem is he's not on the field enough. This is
a serious problem now. This is a serious problem now.
This is all the time. Like when you're on the field, you're super productive, bro. But I'm also giving you a lot of money. And now you were hurt last year. You're hurt twice this year. You just got back. You just came back. Now I'm hoping broken toe. He'll probably be able to play in 4 weeks. I'll venture to guess. With modern medicine, make it stable.
Now, do you think that they would end up like the easier move, in my opinion, to just do what you did tonight, and that you keep Josiah Scott in the slot, and then CJ goes obviously back into the safety? Any chance they flip him? Just because Gardner Johnson played some of that?
No, because their defense was super productive when Gardner was behind them, right? And instead of making two moves for the sake of one, like we used to talk about when like Lane would get hurt back in the day, right? Instead of making two for the sake of one, just like, hey, we were playing really well. Those two seem to have a better chemistry, and like Dallas, like relax, still, like relax. I mean, we're missing two of our better guys in our back end. I mean, CJ pretty important, and I'm not going to make excuses, but pretty important. I assume if I have CJ in a playoff game, we're better. We're better. So I mean, I don't. You can't have it both ways, Cowboys fans. But no, Ryan, it's a good question. But I mean, they were, like Greg said, they were getting off the freaking field. I mean, he wasn't like a guy where I was like, oh my God, can we just go find somebody in the scrap heap?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why don't we just call up a guy from the practice squad, give him a run?
People were saying, and I understand it, former Eagle, he tweeted out yesterday, but like people are like, oh, you got to get Cravon LeBlanc. Like, he was fine when he was here, but like,
French bread.
Yeah, like, but he's somebody like Kane said, where's Anthony Harris? I don't know. I was thinking the same thing. Maybe he's just not good anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe Blankenship's just better.
We let him go.
Cut for a reason.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
preseason.
LeBlanc's sitting at home tweeting that, hey, I'm available. There's probably a reason why he's got to tweet that. Anthony Harris, we let him go. The best he could do was a Broncos practice squad. Then they released him from said practice squad, and now he's here, kind of dressing but not really playing.
And why, Ryan? Why is he here? He's here as an emergency.
Yeah,
he knows the
because every Blankenship was hurt for 2 weeks, and we were like, oh, we don't know because Kayvon Wallace also sucks. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, on defense of Kayvon, he played better than Reed did this week.
Yeah.
Last week, I thought Kayvon actually deserved an opportunity to start again this week because I thought he was our best player defensively against the Bears outside of Reddick and our front. Like, I thought he was tremendous against Chicago. And I don't give the guy credit for anything, right, guys? But I thought he was tremendous. He was tackled well. So I'm like, hey, you know what? Like, I know Reed's coming back, but maybe this kid deserved the second week. But whatever. I mean, that's neither here nor there.
With our defensive line, Hassan Reddick's now got 12. Hargraves at 10. Sweat's at 9.5.
10.5. He's at 10.5 now.
No, I'm looking at it right now. It still says 9.5.
They flashed on the board today that he had 10.5.
Oh, all right. Maybe these.
No, why would you do that? Why would you do that? MS, I appreciate the super chat, but why would you do that? CJ's led the National Football League in interceptions from the safety position. Why would I change that?
I could argue that this is one of the biggest reasons why Slay maybe is going down in production. It kind of mirrors the last time GJ has been healthy.
Well, that's your back end help. That's your most important help. You know,
over the top.
Yeah, I want those guys to stay where they're at. I mean, I get what you guys are saying. I'm not trying to. Don't think I'm taking shots at you. It's just opinions, but I don't think they would touch moving CJ because Reed's not good enough. The only guy that you could maybe like wrap my head around is if they thought Kayvon was good enough to start back there. But I don't like moving a guy who leads the league in picks back there. DJ's world is the gap between Dallas with Dak closer than y'all expected because I know Hurts is better, but I don't know. I don't see him scoring that many points. I think we scored the same amount. Like, I think our offense probably looks better than it did today, and I thought it would look pretty good today.
Yeah, because we would have had 3 more drives, and we know with Jalen with the ball possession, we're not. Again, you guys scored, you guys won the game, so you guys deserve to win, obviously. But no, we would have scored more. I
don't know. It doesn't matter. I think it's a
different dynamic, right? It's a different dynamic. I don't think. I think to that point, I don't think Jalen's dropping back throwing 40, 50 times like that we had Gardner, right? I think there's more of Jalen's running, right? Because I know Miles ran the ball 21 times, and then Kenny was 4 rushing the ball. But you miss those at least RPOs or design runs that I know we hate, but you miss that ability or you miss that threat from Jalen, right? They're not having Jalen do what they had in terms of he's not throwing 40 times like Minshew. Minshew was 24 for 40.
Your third down
55. He's not throwing for 40 times.
Your third down efficiency is way better. I think they were 8 for 15, 8 for 14.
8 for 14.
Yeah, so I mean it's better with Jalen because that's like his strength. It's what he can do not only with his legs but his arm and how calm he is on third down. That gets a little bit better. Everything's just a little bit better.
Yeah, I'll say this: it's all better, but I still think you're in a 1-possession game.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I don't think it's a blow. I don't think it's a blowout if Jalen's playing. Absolutely.
No. The DJ's comment, like the gap. I mean, this gap is if we see each other round 2, this is a 1-possession game. So I think it's that close. I don't think anybody, when you talk about 4 or 5 teams in the upper echelon of teams in each conference, I think you're talking about dogfights. I think you're talking about who's going to make more plays, who gets off the field, who scores in the red zone, and the game when we talk about inches, it's inches and it's inches in the scoreboard too. I think you're 7 or less in all these games.
Where's DJ? Are you also talking about like the gap as far as like best team in the NFC, second best team in the is because that's the way I took it. He might be taking it how you said it too, Tom. But I think we would all agree before this game. I think we would have had Eagles Cowboys 1-2, and I think after this game it's Eagles Cowboys 1-2.
I think it's a mix. Like I to be fair, like I think it's a mix. You have
there would have been some love for San Fran.
Oh, they're definitely there too.
Well, San Fran and Minnesota get the same love. I mean, that's what I just said. Those top 4 teams are all one possession games.
Yeah.
Like you can't say like Minnesota. I'm not gonna say like, oh, because they're coming here that I'm gonna beat them by 20.
No.
Like I expect to be in a dogfight because even when they are down, they seem to come back. Now I think I should beat them. San Fran, we're a better football team, but their defense is loaded. So I feel like I'm in a dogfight. Right? Dallas, I think we're a better football team, but they're good too. So I think I'm in a one possession game. So that's the crazy thing, and that's a good thing. Everybody, like we talk about the NFC being down. Sure, it's down, but those top 4 teams are still legit, right? Mm-hmm. And they're almost interchangeable. Like I don't care who ranks who where. As long as the Eagles are 1, the rest of the rankings are what day are you talking?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like what that? Because I think Minnesota gets disrespected a little bit. And they're doing the same thing everybody else is doing. They're winning one possession games. They're just.
It's like they're playing with their food too much, and then
they
keep playing with it, and then they realize, oh my god, there's 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We better start fixing.
Like eat it, bro. Just
freaking put in the backup. I don't think Kirk Cousins wants to play every single minute of every game. I'm sure it's helping his fantasy points, but like give the guy a breather, please.
No, it's so true, Rye. It's so true because it is like playing with their food, and there's just. I said to my dad, he's like, "Are they always in one possession games?" I said, "The whole year they are." Like all their wins are one possession games. You truly got because if we were Vikings fans, to be fair, we'd be giving our team a ton of credit for the way how resilient they've been.
Well, if I'm a Viking, because I actually think that they've got a little bit of this vibe, but obviously I'm not a Vikings fan. But if we were Vikings fans, we would have been preaching the last 9 weeks how they're the team of destiny. Because doesn't matter if we're down 33, we're still going to win. Doesn't matter if we're down 7 with 2 minutes to go, we're still going to win. Like, there's so many of those games.
I was just saying, you want to know how Vikings fans feel? Because that's my whole other side of the family. They're frustrated as hell every week, but then they're like, okay, we won, right? You know what I mean? Because
they have signature wins. Like that Buffalo win in Buffalo, to me, changed my opinion on them. Yep. Freaky, whatever, it's still win in Buffalo. Mm-hmm. Right? To me, that changed my opinion on them. Even though we beat them here, I think we're better than them, but it changed my opinion on how good I think they can be. Like, I think they can go on the road and win. Like, I don't think they're against, like, oh, they're outside, they're done. No, they got too much explosiveness offensively to be done. They have a running game. They have a veteran quarterback. Healthy. Yeah, like, they're good, man. They're good.
That's why, like, I think it was, like, middle of the third quarter this afternoon, and I'm watching the families, and, like, they've got 10 points. And like the Vikings, and I'm like looking at the injury report. I'm like, is somebody hurt? Did Dalvin go out to Jefferson? Because I'm like, they have way too much freaking talent on both sides of the ball. They only have 10 points right now, and then all of a sudden, they wake up, they get a touchdown. Daniel Jones becomes Daniel Jones again. He turns the football over again, and they obviously come out with a victory. It's like honestly, it's like they're asleep at the wheel for 75% of the game, and then they become elite for the final like 5 minutes.
No, I didn't watch the second half because we went to church early. But same thing with the Patriots. Like if you're not down 22-0 at halftime, maybe you win that game, even though you still had a chance. You know what I mean? You're just like, and then of course maybe you would have covered the 3.5 that whatever.
The biggest concern for the Vikings is that the two teams. If they're going to get to where they need to get to, they're probably going to come across both of them. Dallas and the Eagles, they got blown out by both teams. Like it wasn't even competitive.
Yeah, but they'd have to, in order to get to the Super Bowl, they'd have to come through potentially us or Dallas. Mm-hmm. But they're on track to hit San Fran first, though.
So listen, everybody. Sorry, real quick, everybody tuning in. If you haven't, do us a favor, stay with us. Hit the like and subscribe on whatever platform you're watching us on, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. Stay with all our content and live shows and enjoy yourself.
Because right now Dallas would have to go to, in theory, Tampa Bay, and then the winner of that comes to us.
Yeah, I saw a comment earlier. I think it was Joseph. He was like, "It's destiny or it's fact that Tampa would win against Dallas." I don't know, Joseph. I mean, Tampa Bay. Listen, it might be the Panthers in a couple weeks. Now there's a path for the freaking Panthers to win that division.
Steve Wilkes we talked about that in our group chat a little bit today. Steve Wilkes has got that team playing hard.
Tom, I picked the wrong year. Remember last year I was like, "Oh, the Panthers are going to be my sneaky team." I was a year early.
And next year the Chargers will come out like gangbusters.
They're disowned. So of course they'll win the Super Bowl next year because I disown. DJ's World again. DJ, my man. He says, I legitimately thought the Eagles had the better roster, offensive scheme, and defense. It was a bigger gap to me than what I saw today. The offense and Dak putting up 40 was not an option in my mind.
Now it's one game.
Yeah.
If they do it again, I don't know if it's a 40 to whatever type game, right? That's not an excuse. I think it might be a little bit less scoring. I don't think our defense is as bad as they played today at times either. So I think it's a combo. I think the Dallas offense is good. They are explosive. They can score points, right? So I think they both go hand in hand. Now, moving on with this, I know, the report came out like we talked about earlier on. There's question marks about Jalen playing next week. It's sprained shoulder. I don't know how they would know that on Saturday for a game next Sunday. I venture to guess he plays. Now, maybe he doesn't. I was wrong about this week. I thought if he really wanted to, he would, but I don't know. I don't know what he's going through. I'm not in the room. Like we're not there. We're not there to know, like, oh, I'm still in pain, right? Or if he's not, or he might be honest with it, right? Like, hey, it doesn't feel 100%, blah, blah, blah. But I would venture to guess he plays next week in a game that we need to win. But maybe he doesn't. You know what I mean? This organization has done one thing. They're more into, and I don't love it, but it feels like they're going to be more into rather have a healthy roster than a roster that I'd rather have a lot of roster come out a little flat that's healthy than a chance of losing guys.
I think it's like Ghost of Christmas Past. And this, maybe I'm reaching on this, where now you've seen with other quarterbacks and other teams where if you try and push the envelope a little bit with the injuries, I think that they're in a situation right now because of how they have a little bit of wiggle room because of what they did earlier in the season. You know what, Jalen? We want to make sure you're 100%. Sure, it might be a little rusty, but we're going to side on the side of caution with the injuries. I don't agree with it either. I don't.
He's got to play week 18 then.
Has to.
Like he can't go 4 weeks without taking snaps, right? I think we all agree there. Like I'm all good with these guys getting breathers, right, guys? I'm all good with it. You want to limit some stuff, right? And your big time vets, like if they don't play week 18, fine. But that's why this week was important, and it's why this week coming up now is extremely important. Like if you want to play those types of games, you don't have the 1 seed locked up. Like we're talking about, like we got it done. It's done. Like I feel like the radio conversations with our boys, family members, friends, etc. Everybody's walking around like it's over. Like the 1 seed's wrapped up, and I'm like, we still got business to take care of. Like it's not over yet. Everybody says, "Oh, 1 win in 3 games." Okay, but now you have a Saints team coming in. They got a chance to win a division. Then you're gonna have a Giants team coming in, still maybe fighting for a playoff spot. We don't know, right? So, right, guys. So it's not like your last 2 games are against teams that both have good defenses, both are physical. So it's not like you have like cupcakes rolling in that you're playing the next 2 weeks. So I think people better be fucking careful about like how we took this game. Like I think, right, you heard me on Wednesday. I think people were taking this game too lightly.
Yes.
This is the game to go fucking win. What are we talking about? Resting guys in week 16. What?
Well, this is what it's kind of ridiculous too, because and we all said it, right? 1 in the next 3. Well, now it's 1 in the next 2. And if we're just gonna be like, give it an extra week, we'll figure it out against the Giants. Really? Listen, there's no question we're a much better team than the Giants. Look at the first time we played them in MetLife. Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah.
But you want to have a situation where you have to have a must-win game against a desperate division opponent in week 18? No, thank you. Like, I don't want to just be like, we'll figure it out in a couple weeks. No, I want to handle our business and blow out the Saints maybe that way we can do what we were doing like the last, we've done, I think, 3 other times this year where Jalen takes a seat halfway through the fourth quarter, and then you go rest or you go snap counts or whatever. Then you get creative with all that. But handle your freaking business, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have a 5-game lead anymore. We never did. That's how good the division is.
No, we walked around like we got all this time. Like you said, losing the Saints. Now you got to win 1 game in 1 game. Huh. Yeah, and people are like, Tom, there's no shot you're losing to the Saints. It's the NFL. There's a shot of anything happening.
Dude, I will say that. And again, like, I'm not doing like the barely win thing because all I care about is winning by 1 point. We thought, I would say 90% of the fan base thought we would basically roll over the Bears. Didn't quite happen like that. And I get that was on the road. I understand that. Against a way more dynamic quarterback than anything the Saints are throwing out there. But no, win the games you need to, then worry about everything else later.
Yeah, well, I think
real quick, I will say this, though. Unless Lane completely got off scot-free, and this is just like a, whatever, like a bone bruise, whatever the hell it is.
Yep.
I wouldn't be shocked if we don't see him. I mean, honestly, I would be shocked if we see him before the playoffs. I think he's done for the regular season.
Well, I got no problem him and Kelsey going to have a seat.
Yeah,
they've been this is the difference, right? With veterans, right? Right, the what we're talking about. These guys been down this road before. So if Fletcher needs rest, or BG, or Jason, or Lane, get him off the field, dude, because they've been there. They've been there. Maybe you give them. If you know once you get the number 1, maybe you say I'll give you some reps week 18 to maybe keep you fresh. Like in terms of rep wise, but I feel like they've been through enough, those types of guys. It's the younger guys that you get worried about. I'm not telling you give Darius a breather. He's never been down this road, right? He's never won shit. The other guys have won shit. The guys on my roster have won shit that are my captains and my leaders. Like we talked about earlier, Lane Johnson's just as important as Jalen Hurts.
Yep. Just
as important. And I'm not going to say we win or lose today with Hurts. I don't know. It's a different game. I have no idea how this game goes with Jalen. Right? Yeah. I think we have a better chance, sure. But Gardner played really good. So I can't say we lost the game because of the quarterback, right? Yeah. So, but moving forward, we got to take care of business. We'll obviously talk about Jalen Hurts, this Wednesday more when we're back on the saddle here. And hopefully he's in line to play against the Saints. So this isn't a long, too long of a breather. But I feel like Jalen needs to get reps. But anybody else that wants to get sat down for breathers after, but we got to take care of it. Like we talk about, okay, we're good with not seeing Lane anymore, but are we? We might need
Saints defense against the Saints defense. The Saints suck, but their defense is always good.
We got to get that one more. Now, can we probably win it without him? Sure, but we know our record without Lane Johnson. It's not
without
good.
Lane. Yes, it's not good.
Not good.
And BG's going to want that double-digit sack before he even thinks about sitting down. You know what I mean? Like, whether it's a contract thing, right? Whether there's, a clause there, or whether it's just pride of coming, and more power to him, right? Coming back off that injury to show that he's still got some burst and still got some things left in the tank. So I think he's sitting at 8.5 or 9.5.
He's close.
Still this year. So,
Bill, thank you, brother.
Bill, thanks, brother.
Kane, I will say this about it. It was a head injury, right? Like, obviously, I'm not putting it's
friendly
not
fire.
Yeah,
it's a concussion or it's a jaw injury because he got smoked right in the fucking jaw with the helmet.
So, obviously, nobody wants a head injury, but it's not a torn ACL. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's a long-term thing. And it's also not the same injury he had before where it's this is now same injury, back-to-back, back-to-back weeks or back-to-back months or whatever.
Yeah, but we also went and addressed that too, right? I mean, that's part of what, bringing in Joseph and Sue was about, was making sure that we are still stout, in that front middle and stuff like that. So, yeah,
Joseph played well. Joseph played really well.
They both played well. They've both had their moments. So yeah, while it sucks to see Davis get hurt again, but we're good there. We're really good there.
He'll be ready by playoffs. It's not like a season ender. Greg, did you contact Ralphie?
I can do it right now.
Yeah, fire him up. But no, I mean, listen, it's disappointing because you want to win what's in front of you. You would have loved to clinch home field throughout and get that number 1 seed, and then we can start having conversations on the right and wrong way to go about what we do. Because like I said, there's no right or wrong way. Because at the end of the day, they're going to do what they think's best, and it can go 2 ways, like we talked about, boys. You know, you don't want to play and get hurt, but then you don't want to not play and be rusty. So it's like a catch-22.
Yeah,
and I'm glad it's not my decision, but we got to go take care of business to even have that conversation. So this is going to be an interesting week. We got a lot to unpack this week.
This like Dak like owns the Eagles thing is funny to me. Like, listen, he's beaten us more than we beaten him. I understand that, but I'm seeing people like celebrate it like it's equivalent to, I don't know, an NFC title game. Like, if he beats us in the NFC title game, please come in our mentions and blow us up with it. But like, we're treating, and this is just one
loss to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, like I don't.
Not even a couple of years ago, they came here week 17. Okay. Winner goes to the playoffs and they lost. So I don't know the owned.
when our wide receiver core was a bunch of lawn chairs. Literally. Yeah, it's phenomenal. Like that's the crowning achievement. It's like Dak's record against like Elov 27-6 Dak in the NFC East. Okay, how many playoff wins? And I'm not taking a shot at you. I'm just asking.
I am. Yeah, like I am. Like, I mean, at some point, dude, you've been playing for a while. Yeah. You know, you got to win some playoff games. I mean, we're talking about Jalen in year 3 having to win playoff games. Well, Dak's been around a lot longer than that. Had a lot more chances, and it's come up small. So, you know, I would be very careful. I'd just be very careful as a Cowboys fan talking shit.
It's not like it's honestly you're looking at it where like, oh, every 10 wins against the NFC East, it gets you a free playoff win. It's not like buy 10 pizzas, get one free, a free coupon. You know what I'm saying? Like okay, the regular season wins. They're divisional matchups. That's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
I just see all these people like everywhere. Like, oh, Dak Prescott, owner of the Eagles. Is he? Okay. That's fine. He has like how many playoff wins does he have? 2?
1.
He's 1-3.
Yeah, like what are we doing? Like, what are we? They act like it's like Tom Brady when he was on the Patriots against the AFC East, where it's like, oh, he owns the division. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Listen, if that's what we're gonna get excited for Dallas, okay.
Yeah. Right.
Enjoy.
All right, family. If you're just joining us, Greg's been doing his 12 days of Christmas giveaways here on A2D.
DJ.
As you should, DJ.
Yeah, I respect that. But again, you pick your spots, DJ. You're not going to come in and you're like, oh, my God, we beat you. We beat you in a regular season game. Like, you can because you did. But
no, you win round 1 of the playoffs. You should be insufferable.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like that's what you're in. What's what we're in it for, DJ. And I appreciate the other super chat. We got more super chats from a Cowboys fan than our own faithful. I mean, that's a problem. You people are a problem out there. So you all better be hitting the like and subscribe and stay with us. Okay? You don't want to be givers on the holidays. We're giving to you, and we're going to give to you right now. We've been doing Greg's 12 days of Christmas giveaway to all our YouTube members. You can still become a YouTube member, get in on the giveaways moving forward here. And we are, we have 8 days left, Greg? 9? Where you at?
We're at 6. So 6.
Wow. I feel like you skipped over a couple. But that's neither here nor there. Six left. And then we'll still be doing giveaways after the fact with Greg. We'll be doing 1 or 2 a week for everybody that's a YouTube member. So, yeah, you're paying $9.99 a month, but you're getting stuff back. You're getting action. Bang for your buck. And like Greg said on Wednesday, we're reshaping how we bend our members over. So enjoy it. Ralphie, without further ado, Greg, go ahead. This is your time to shine, Oprah.
No, absolutely. Ralphie's here. We got this wheel up and running. Ralphie, let's go. We're going to spin it twice, as always. Twice.
Chance for a Jalen Hurts jersey.
Jalen Hurts jersey.
And he's spinning it twice.
Spinning it twice.
Just respin this immediately, Ralph. Don't give it time to sit and see a name. Oh my God. My DMs are going to be a problem.
They already are.
Oh my God.
Here we go. The winner of the Jalen Hurts jersey is going to be
Long spin. Devlin, my brother.
Devlin, let's go.
What up, Dev?
Devlin, get into our DMs, either myself or any of the A2D platforms. Get me your address, stuff like that, and we'll get that out to you after the new year. We're working on securing a New Jersey supply, but we will be getting you. We'll get you a jersey right after. Take the up and cool. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, I don't need you to pay anything anyway. But
thanks for the chat. Appreciate
you're
it.
a loser Cowboys fan who's done nothing but come in here and take shots. So you're a loser. Enjoy this. I hope you wake up happy tomorrow, knowing you beat a team with their backup quarterback. Loser. Dale. Dale. Oh, we double tapped.
Yep.
We double tapped.
We got excited.
Dale, here's your super chat, boys. Tough one today, but I believe in this team. Go Birds. Dale, thank you, brother. We appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
You guys were phenomenal tonight. We love you all. I want to go watch Christmas Vacation before it gets too late. Boys, love yous. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Enjoy it with the family. Everybody out there, enjoy it with your family. And we're back at it next week. And we're in a air quote must win. I know people don't want to hear that, but 1 seed's pretty fun. Pretty fun. We want to thank our doc for bringing you our post-game show tonight. Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, location in Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Find them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. For Greg Mwakovic, Ryan Brodo, I'm Tom Arnone. Everybody out there, we love you. Merry Christmas. Came up short today, fam. My Nick Sirianni. We'll get it right, and we'll fix the problems, and we'll be back next week. On to the Saints.
Merry
Quarterback
Christmas.